need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken. If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it, it's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word is self-approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences, let love heal all that's broken.
And shalom to everyone. So glad to have you all with us today. This is another opportunity. And for some of you, this is the day that Yahweh our Elohim has made. We will rejoice and be glad within it. I love today because it's a chance to get into Shabbat. Shabbat is a lifestyle. It's what gives my life actual style. Moderators, if you'll cue everybody in, make sure everybody gets opportunity to have a platform and a microphone to speak from. Gigi, I need to hear from you. Love you to life eternal. Brother Jordan, good to see you, man. Need to hear from you as well. It's always a pleasure to all of you from across the pond. Shalom to you. We speak Shabbat Shalom to those of you who are already into your Shabbat. And it is a joy to follow your path and your pattern to where you are and how you're getting there. So listen, let's do what we need to do here to love Yahweh and appreciate him for who he is and why he is today. We're looking for some greater things even coming up this today as we study a little bit. We want to get really caught up into it as soon as we are able. Well, we got a lot to talk about today, but a very short period of time to do it in. So let's get going into what we know has been the preceding word and the differences of church and Torah dreams or Torah teachings on dreams. Those of you who are coming in on our Facebook and our YouTube platforms, please hit the heart sign. Please hit the like sign. Please make a comment. This way we can help to get our algorithm and our rhythm moving. And sort of kind of in a very small way, drive more people to this type of information. I think that you guys are finding edifying and encouraging. If you ever wanted to be an evangelist, here's your chance. All right. If you've ever been an evangelist and you want to be an evangelist, here is your chance. Y'all ready for that? Let's evangelize and carry this gospel to the world as only Yahweh can do it. All righty. So we're ready to get started and we're ready to get going and pushing towards all things Yahweh in this time and in this day. And again, Facebook, this place has me going goofy here. All righty. Let's do what we do here. Better. Cancel. Okay. All right. I'm going to just move on. I'm not going to worry about technology today. If you're on, you're on. If you're not, you're not. You know where we are. You know what we do. My job is to teach you and share with you what we know for the proceeding word. Let's get our hearts and our minds prepared. Father, we thank you for the word, the will, the plan. We thank you for your purpose in life. We thank you for giving us purpose in life. We now ask you to be with us and to teach us as only you can. And those of us that have already begun our Shabbat, we give you full and total authority. All 24 hours we dedicate to you. And Father, we give you who we are, inviting you into our space, inviting you into our world to commandeer us and share with us all things we need to know about who you are and why you are in this space. We now give your name honor, give your name glory, and we're presenting ourselves to you. And we're asking you to share with us all things that you know and have us aware of. We love you. We adore you. We magnify you and we exalt you. We want to know and we want to be every place that you would have us to be, in the mighty, in the matchless, in the most magnanimous name of Yeshua HaMashiach. We say and we pray, Amen. All right, so we talked about quite a few things on this last programming of the proceeding word, and I want to make sure that we have a guide for where we've been. And what we talked about was the difference between how the church and what the Torah teaches about dreams. As we've told you before, and we're going to do a real quick recap on it, that you dreams are very sensitive, dreams are very instructional, dreams are very informational, and dreams are ultimately and literally utterly important to the believer and who the believer is and what the believer is able to accomplish in the earth. All right. Now, watch this. As we prepare ourselves to go and dive deeper into what dreams do, we gave you some information from a program that we did have on screen. And that programming was an infographic dream from a website we called for infographics. And so this was overview of the Bible.com. I'm going to share this with you again and just recap what we did. Every dream in the Bible and what these dreams mean. All right. So we had talked about all the dreams that had been given, all the different types of dreams, how many dreams there were. There are literally 21 dreams in the Bible. 10 of them happen in the book of Bereshit, in the Torah. They set precedents for every other dream that you see. Then you have another one dream in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings. Then you have another book in the book of the prophets. You have 3 dreams, which are Daniel's. And then you have 6 dreams in the Brit Hadessa, particularly in the book of Matthew. So all of these things are significant. So we have 21 dreams that are recorded in the Bible, and then they tell us what took place and how they happened. So all of them are asleep when the dreams happen. Okay, so you have 6 kings who dreamed, you have 1 woman who dreamed, and you got 2 men named Usef who dreamed. Both of them, each of them are where they are. Usef of the Old Testament, Usef of the New Testament. Usef, y'all call him Joseph, was the son of Israel, and he dreamed dreams. The other Usef was a great grandson of King David, who married a great granddaughter of King David, and he married Miriam, but he married Miriam after she conceived of Yahweh our Elohim, Ruach HaKodesh, overshadowing her, and the seeding of our Messiah was placed. So Usef has a dream in the New Testament, the Brit Hadessa. So all of these people were asleep when these dreams happened. Okay. Because that's the difference between a dream and a vision. Now, what I like what infrastructure did here, infographics did here about all these dreams on overviewbible.com, they made some things very clear. You have 2 dreams by kings. You have a dream by kings, Abimelech's warning, where Elohim stops Abimelech, who was the king of Gerar, from sleeping with Sariah, Abraham's wife, and we read that in Genesis chapter 20. Then you have a dream of Jacob himself, and Jacob technically is a king. Jacob sees angels ascending and descending upon a ladder between the earth and the heavens, indicating to us that there are angels who are assigned to you and I, each of us, and they have specific jobs that they do. I need about 18 of y'all just to say, Yahweh, I allow your angels to do as you've assigned. Y'all tell the angels, say, angels, I let you do what you've been assigned. Tell them, angels, I let you do what you assigned. All right. And then you also see now Jacob dreams another dream where Jacob goes home. So if you're watching, if you're on Clubhouse and you're not watching the Facebook feed or the live YouTube feed, you're not seeing this information, but I'll try to give it to you as best I can verbally to give you a better pictorial. So Jacob is told to go home. So Yahweh tells Jacob to return back to the land of his father. You find that in Genesis Bereshit chapter 31, verses 10 through 11. He dreams a dream while sleeping. Then there's a dream when he's about to leave. And Laban now has a dream. Laban is technically a king as well. So Laban's dream is that he should not touch Jacob. He should not bother Jacob. Jacob is leaving now. He served you for 20 years. You tricked your family into what you got, and let him and his family now go. Don't bother him. All right. And then you see also there was the dream by Usef, who is Jacob's son. Jacob's son dreams a dream about a sheaf that stands straight up. And then 11 other sheaves in that same dream, they bow down to that sheaf standing straight up. Usef then dreams a dream about stars and the sun and the moon and the stars. They bow down to Usef. Now, both dreams signify that Usef's family will bow down to him. But at the time that Usef got these dreams, Usef was not aware of what it was. He did not have any way of interpreting the dream. You and I, and this is where I like to talk to Christendom, you and I know the story because we're reading it as it's concluded. We're reading the report of a testimonial. But while this dream was happening live with Usef, he did not know how to make sense of the dream. That's why he went and told his brothers what the dream was. And they instantly got jealous. He then had another dream and told his father, and his father and his brothers, having that first dream, think that Usef is on some ego trip. And so Usef is trying to get an understanding of the dreams, right? Why is that important? Why is that important? Because Usef is the dreamer in this case. Usef is the dreamer in this case. And he has a dream he can't make sense of. You and I think he made sense of it because we know the story from beginning to end, but he's in the story. He doesn't know the end yet. He doesn't understand the dream. He's trying to get interpretation, which is why he shared it with his elders, his mom, his dad, his brothers. Usef was what, number 10 in the family? He born long time. He's got bigger brothers, and he's like, y'all help me understand this, all right? So a dream interpreter, let me be very clear, an interpreter of dreams can interpret their own dream. And you can't be taught how to interpret dreams. I want to be very clear about that with many of you. You cannot interpret your own dream. You may be able to identify issues in the dream that will probably happen, will probably take place, will probably do something, will probably be some level of significance to you. But at the end of the day, you cannot interpret your own dream. You will see it, you'll identify it because everything in the dream is about what is attractive and is a normalcy for you. Whether it's music, a rapper you like, a psalmist you like, a love ballad you like, whether it is your mother or your father, whether they're deceased or still with us, your grandparent, whoever it is, an uncle, an auntie, a cousin, if they're deceased or they're still here. If you see someone deceased in the dream talking to you, contrary to a common belief within Christendom, churchdom, that someone talking to you who's dead in a dream is trying to lure you to the dark side or lure you into death and you're about to die. That is so far from the truth. If the person that's in the dream matters to you, if they were someone of wisdom and counsel to you, if they are someone of abuse to you, if they were someone who murdered or stole from you, then the reasoning for that person, in most cases, as I've understood Yahweh to bring reveals of dreams, usually it's got to do with the mindset and the mentality that the person presents to you and how you view them. So if they're a safe place, if they're a providing place, if they're a covering place, if they are a place you stay away from, all of that, the dreams, every symbolism in the dream. So is important to where the dream and the instruction is going. And just because you see somebody in the dream who is alive, die, or about to die, get caught up or about to get caught up in something, you may even see that come to life in real life. But beloved, that does not mean that you are a prophet. It is a prophetic dream. But even in a prophetic dream, remember, it's a prophecy to you. It's not a prophecy to the person that's in your dream that may be alive and you know well. Yahweh is not in the business of telling other people your business. Yahweh, that would make Yahweh a gossip. Is Yahweh a gossip? Talk to me. I'm asking a for real question.
No, he's not. No, he's not. Absolutely not.
Does he tell us not to gossip? So someone tell me, why would Yahweh be in the business of gossiping? I want y'all to finally put an end to this foolishness of church nosiness and people trying to be spiritual, saying that, he read my mail. No, Yahweh is not interested in another person reading your mail. Even the federal law tells you that tampering with mail is a criminal offense. Yahweh is not in the business of telling somebody else your mail. He is not a gossip. So he's not going to have me have a dream about Elder Page and then tell me, see, she's sneaking, or see, she doing this, or have Yahweh have a dream about for you to me about me, and see he crooked, or see he on the black side, or see he's into some secret group and all this. He's not. Yahweh isn't into that. That's between that person and Elohim. If you get any kind of information about a person that would be detrimental or whatever, the event will happen. It ain't your job to go back and tell that. They already gonna go through it. Yahweh's already given them an instruction, but what's happening is he's giving you, because it's so close to you, a knowledge of how you need to respond and or reply, no matter how the event turns out. You're focused on the event. Why? Because the person is so very clear and dear to you. And they may not be dear to you. It may be your enemy, right? And you may see your enemy in the dream fall off a cliff. And you're like, good riddance, And then you wake up in the morning and say, you know what, Mr. Enemy, Mrs. Enemy, I saw you fall off a cliff. Bye. I'm a prophet of God, and I know God gonna do it. You shouldn't touch me. Let touch not mine anointed, do my prophets no harm. I try to tell you so. When you fall off that cliff, know why you taking your last breath, who you fell off the cliff for. Sit your butt down. Yahweh is not interested in telling you what he's going to do to somebody, unless in fact it has to do with where you're going to end up. So he's going to explain to you how you need to respond to this. And if you keep watching the rest of the dream, and you keep paying attention to the rest of the dream, you keep paying attention to the symbolisms after the event, or before the event, or during the event, the symbolisms tell you, based on their importance to you, how you should move forward. Because it's all about you. So any prophetic dream, we like to call them, and they are all dreams are prophetic technically, but what I want to delineate here is if it's got a dream of you and somebody else in the dream, it ain't about the somebody else in the dream. That's going to happen. It's about you and how you come out of the circumstance. You may need to just, once this happens, walk on by and walk away. You may need to be able to go back to a family member or whatever, and he will teach you how you need to respond to this, whether or not, so that you don't, one, get overcome by it. Number two, you don't let it distract you. Number three, you cause it to put you in a different state of mind. He's trying to tell you what state of mind you need to have once you take in this information, because things can be digested into you. Things can be consumed by you, but Yahweh is always going to show you how to come out of it. That's the purpose for dreams. I need everybody to type it in. I need everybody who's watching. I want you to type it in. YouTube, Facebook, even on Clubhouse. Type it in. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. I'll wait. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. I'll wait. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. I'm still waiting. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. I'm gonna wait one more again. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. I'm gonna be nice because it's Sabbath. I'm gonna say it one more time. Dreams are specific instructions from Elohim. Now, the one thing I want everybody to realize while you're typing that and putting it into your psyche is to understand that the devil can't give you dreams. Yahweh, nothing can tap into your cerebral but Yahweh, and he does it. Dreams come when you fall to sleep, when your flesh is asleep. Now, if you're awake, you can have a craving that is so vivid because your flesh is active and your mind is thinking. And some of y'all need to learn to shut your brains down, though you won't be able to. But when I say shut your brains down, stop thinking you know what something or someone else is thinking, because you have a thought process in your experiences that has given you some reason to see this or see that, but you don't have the actual facts. So stop thinking so much when you see a dream come your way. Stop thinking so much when you see a vision come your way, because what you're thinking about is why the vision comes in its package. What you're thinking about most in the course of your day, the 7 days, 30 days, 365 days of your life, when Yahweh needs to get an instruction to you, what you seem to pander towards, what you seem to go towards, you gravitate towards, who you seem to be around the most. He uses whatever symbols are in your natural, real life and everyday functionality to bring a divine instruction to keep you in all your way. Dreams come from Elohim. There is no such thing as a nightmare. What you see in the dream may scare the hell out of you. That's a good thing. But dreams are not nightmares. And again, let me enforce this with you. Snakes. I just saw another clip. I don't know why it happened, but y'all know that snakes are just, everybody see a snake in the dream. Oh my God, snakes. Watch the snakes in the grass. Yeah, there are true metaphors. There are true, idioms and quotes about serpents and how they bite you and they trade on you and they trick on you. And there's one favorite one that we like to use where a woman or a man, it's been told in many different versions, a man or a woman has in the cold place of a mountain found a snake frozen, brought the snake into the house, put it by the fireplace, and the snake by the fireplace begins to thaw out and comes back to life, and they're feeding the snake or caring for the snake, and then after a while the snake ends up biting them. And they say, "Oh, why'd you bite me? I cared for you. Oh my God, you bit me. I'm going to die. Why did you bite me?" Oh, and the snake says, "Well, you knew who I was when you brought me in here." I mean, it's a beautiful, social conversation piece, but it is not Torah or Elohim, the creator's narrative for the serpent. The serpent is a beast of the field. It was made perfectly. As a matter of fact, Yahweh teaches and tells us throughout the Torah, throughout the writ, even through Yeshua HaMashiach, you should be wise as a serpent. So how is the serpent so bad if we're supposed to be wise like the serpent? And then harmless as a dove. Well, I get it because of a wise serpent. Well, wisdom is a good thing, not a bad thing. This is where we have categorized things and issues based on conversations and dialogues of very, unfortunately, uninformed people, and have made certain things gospel in different genres of our thinking capacity. And therefore, we automatically conclude that a serpent is bad. Let me tell you what I know about a serpent. If you don't have this serpent, your whole ecosystem is messed up. And see, because of the way that we have this one image and how it's been preached about the serpent in the garden, and the fact that the prophecy was that the woman and the serpent will have enmity against one another forever. It's true. The woman won't like the serpent won't like the woman, but the serpent still is a beast of the field who has a job that has to do with the tilling of the ground. The serpent has a job just like the human has a job. If the serpent doesn't get rid of the rodents and certain other pesky, creeping, crawling things, then we have a problem. The rodent has its purpose. The birds have their purpose. The bees have their purpose. The ants have their purpose. Serpents, as varied as they are, have their purpose. And the stories that we hear about serpents seem to be scary. But the fact is, a serpent does not bother a human unless it can smell fear on a human. No less the same for a lion, a Bengal, a tiger, any other animal of prey, a bobcat, a coyote. If they smell fear, then you're a 2-piece chicken nugget meal about to go down. Because you're supposed to be in dominion. So when you see these items in dreams, it doesn't mean that they're bad. They do have purpose. All of these things are important for you to understand. So when people just relegate the serpent to the negativity of the analogy, let me give you the analogy about the woman again who brought the serpent into the home and thought it out. However many translations of this, whoever the caretaker was, right? Male or female, boy or girl, whatever, right? And the serpent is brought in from freezing. It's been given life, a chance to live. It is an animal, no different than a cat or a dog would have been brought in from freezing, right? And the serpent, if you understand how the serpent's life is, any serpent has this issue with its body. The issue with its body is it has to keep just like a bear. A bear can be a great pet if it's kept fed. And if its feeding appetite is kept to its max, so that when it goes into hibernation, it doesn't have to hunt for its food, it won't eat you. As long as it has food that's the fats that satisfies its level for hibernation. That's why bears kill. That's why you fear bears. A grizzly and a bear is not coming for a human unless they are desperate for food. And you are a very 120 pound. I'm trying to be nice to some of y'all. Y'all know them numbers is up by 50. So if you're 120 pounds and you out here, you know, muscle and all your tone and everything, you look like a real good drumstick to a bear. You understand me? You look like a nice little human popsicle. And what that will do is for them is give them the protein that they need to lay down with and know that when they wake up, they won't have withered away. Do you understand the concept of how bears eat, the concept of how lions eat, the concepts of how serpents eat? So the story of the serpent again, by the fireplace. They don't eat the caregiver right away. They don't bite the caregiver right away. The caregiver has to be sure to feed the serpent based on the serpent's way of life. And Yahweh had already determined that. Yahweh determined that. So a serpent is it's a beast of the field. It too is a predator. If its appetite is sufficed, you ain't got no problems with it. But if you're not feeding it to what it has to have, you will become what they need. So there's stories that I can tell you, true stories of a person who had a boa constrictor. The boa constrictor was being fed this appetite and some lettuce and stuff, and the person didn't know enough about it. And after a while, they would let the boa constrictor, while it was younger, smaller, eating these small little live, rodents and stuff like that, which was appetite appropriate for the size. But after a while, that boa constrictor got a bit bigger. And as that got bigger and the serpent was allowed to crawl in this person's home and literally crawl up and coil up in the bed next to the actual the owner of the pet, and at that point, the serpent, now needing food and desiring to eat food, he goes on to crawl up, and now every night the owner realizes this thing is in the bed with me, and it wasn't eating the little rodents I'm giving it. And so it would take its time eating the rodents, and it would eventually get to him, but he wasn't eating them like he used to. And now he's sleeping more, and he's always curling up next to me, which is cool. This is a true story. And as he curls up next to the owner, after a while, and it's not eating, the serpent's God-given mindset is literally saying, I need more than these rodents, and you fit that bill. Don't matter if you've been feeding me or not. I have to survive. It ain't that the servant is evil. The servant is in survival. And there's a difference. And many of y'all need to know that about your friends. Certain of your friends, or peers, I should say, or associates, I should say, or associates and associations. These people may not be evil. They're just in survival mode, and they don't understand protocols of civilization and civility and how to work and honor and trust God to provide for them. And they do what they got to do, and they kick in like a dog scavenger mindset, and they just devour. You think they're evil, and they're just trying to survive the way that they know how. Wrong as it may be, not educated, you're dealing with the survivalist, not necessarily evil. But here's the catch about this serpent in the story. So the owner of this serpent doesn't realize that the serpent not eating and curling up next to him, he thought he was sick. Well, the serpent was sizing up the owner because it had gotten so big, so it would know how much space it needed within itself to consume its owner. Another story has that about a baby, just a young child, parents trying to be exotic and always being deep, hippie, smoking weed, drinking, getting high, thought it was cute to own a boa constrictor, feeding it little things. But after a while, the baby got used to the boa constrictor, would never hurt it, would wrap around and crawl across its lap and whatever. The parents thought it was funny. And at the end of the day, the boa constrictor in his mindset is being fed small items to be eaten at a younger age. But as it grows up and this child is growing with it, now this child, this young child, and the parents are too big, but it starts to curl up next to the child all the time. The boa constrictor is sizing up its next consumption. That's just the mindset. Is the boa constrictor evil? No, the boa constrictor is out of its environment. The snake is being kept as a pet, and his instincts are completely different than what humans understand unless you research these beasts, these beautiful beasts. I will never own a snake. You hear me? It ain't my thing. But in the creation of Elohim, the serpent, just like the human, just like the ox, just like the lion, just like the duck-billed platypus, just like the rhino, they're made good. They're made perfectly. Does that make sense? So when you see a serpent in your dreams, stop thinking evil is afoot at your door. And because you see these stories about a serpent in your grass and they slither and they snake, listen, they're trying to sneak up on rodents. Now, the real truth is, if a serpent's always biting you, how ratty are you? Let me drink you know what? I forgot to get tea. You know what? I'm going to have to cut this broadcast so I can go buy me some tea, because that right there should have shook your whole core. A serpent is only attracted to rats. Well, I shouldn't say that way. So if it's always in your world, be careful how you throw shade on a serpent, because it's attracted to certain things. Oops. I said it. I ain't got a problem with it, because I did the research on how serpents in the wild live and how they live when they're captive. Now you go do the research. But as a person who has been afforded the ability by Yahweh to interpret dreams, I myself, like Usef, cannot interpret dreams, my own. I get a dream and I'm trying to figure it out. And I'm like, you know what? I'm too close to this. I'm seeing the people that I am most attracted to in the dream, that I love or I despise or I wish would be better, even though I want my enemies healed. If they're deemed an enemy to me, they've made themselves clear to be an enemy. If they show up in my dream and they're carrying this and carrying that, I'm like, okay, Yahweh, what is the dream? And I'm still, though I'm going through every process I would go through when interpreting a dream for someone else, Yahweh then has me to realize you're too close. You're only going to see what makes you happiest or makes you most angered, and you're going to miss the instructions. So a person who has been used to interpret dreams can barely ever interpret his own dreams. You see that in Usef. You have a biblical account for two different reasons, two different accounts. And then you have biblical account of those who got interpretations of dreams. Now, when Yahweh comes directly to you, or an angel comes directly to you in a dream, that's a different story, because that's a command from Yahweh. Usef, Miriam's husband, you know, the person who helped to care for Yeshua, an angel came to him in a dream. So this ain't like the kind of dream where, okay, I got to figure out types, shadows, and casts. This is the word of Elohim coming in a dream. Now, many people say, well, God told me in a dream. Please be careful, because what you deem God may not be Elohim. So at the end of the day, when you hear someone, you hear the fact that Usef had a dream, the angels came to Jacob, told him to go. The angels came to Jacob with the angels up and down on the thing. That's words from Elohim. But dreams, and as well, angel came to Abimelech, told him, bro, you dead if you touch Sariah. You and everybody you know is dead. I already got a virus in your system. So what you got to understand is that when you get dreams of Yahweh, who is our Elohim, if he or the angels come directly into the dream to speak to you, that's an instruction that you can go and you might not need an interpreter for. However, if you got dreams of other people and other types and other shadows and other casts and symbolisms, and it's giving you this whole storyline, right? You need to get that interpreted. I was in a house and I went bungee jumping. And then when I went bungee jumping, I got to the bottom of the thing and the bungee cord, it didn't break. It snatched me back up so high. I went higher than I was when I jumped off the bungee thing. And then I was in the air and a bird came by and scooped me up and he put me on his wings on his back. And the bird was in he had white wings on one side and he had a black and white tail. And then he had a red forehead and all that stuff. And see, all that stuff is symbolism. If you got a dream where an angel come to you like Usef and Miriam, like an angel came to Jacob when he was trying to go back home and leave Laban. If you got a dream where Yahweh appears or speaks to you in the dream directly, like Abimelech and his sons, these are the types of things you need to understand. But when you get symbolisms like Jacob got, like Usef got, of stars and sheaves and moons and suns, that's got to be interpreted. Even though Usef was used to interpret the butler and the baker's dreams and then the Pharaoh's dreams, he couldn't produce his own. Those types of dreams require interpretation. 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 1 through 12 tells you the gifts of Ruach HaKodesh. He is the one who puts on and takes off of a person the ability to interpret dreams. I want to help you guys end all this foolishness of you thinking you can go into school and learn how to do dreams interpretations. Don't believe that hype. You cannot go to school to learn prophecy. Well, even in the Bible, they had the schools of the prophets. Schools of prophets. You know what that meant, y'all? Somebody say, Apostle, what that mean? Talk to me.
Talk to me, Apostle. What does that mean?
When we had schools of prophets, y'all need to get this. Please listen to this. There is a thing called the school of fish. There is a thing called a school of blackbirds. A school of birds. Have you ever seen a school of fish in the water? I'm sure you've seen them on your little reels and you see all the fish come together and they're swimming and they're so fluid, just like the birds that come from the ocean. They tend to work in schools as well. So that means whatever this particular item is, this species is, it flows together like that. They're not in school teaching each fish, each bird in the school how to do what we do as a school. They know intrinsically how to flow together. There's no classroom. It's what they're built to do. So when you hear about the school of prophets, these are people who know their purpose and their gift as a prophet, and they just live together. They're not going to school for a prophet to sit at the board with a teaching stick and a ruler and a dry erase board or a chalkboard and say, here is how you understand prophecy. Here is what it looks like when a prophecy comes. Here is how long you should take to interpret a prophecy. And these types of prophecies are prophecies for how to eat. These are prophecies for how to drink. And these are, that is not the case. A school of prophet is just like every other creature, both the bird in the air and the fish in the sea. They flow together. You don't go to school and pay a tuition. I'm done.
Wow.
This is the proceeding word. My name is Apostle V.W. Jones. I want to get ready for Shabbat. You guys got to get ready for Shabbat. I need some tea. I got to run some errands before my Sabbath kicks in. I hope that this has been edifying. Part 2, I want you to know dreams only come from Yahweh. Y'all repeat this with me. I'm going to have y'all repeat a couple things with me right now. Say, dreams only come from Yahweh.
Dreams only come from Yahweh.
See, there are no nightmares. Come on. There are no nightmares.
There are no nightmares. No nightmares.
And I have to have my dream interpreted.
And I have to have my dream interpreted.
Because I will only pay attention to what I see.
Because I'll only pay attention to what I see.
And I'll finish it. You ain't got to repeat it because it mattered and it was close to me. So Yahweh will use what is necessary, what is completely attractive to you to get your attention. That's the only way he can reach you, some of us. That part. So don't be caught up in this Pentecostal movement of dream interpretation and going to a school and paying a tuition to learn how to do prophecy, or for that matter, speaking in tongues. Y'all stop it. We look so ignorant to the God of our salvation when we succumb to this idiocy, because we are idiotic in the sense that we are ignorant and then think our ignorance should be pushed forward. I say that with my whole heart, but I say it in love. And I'm sorry if you got hooked and bamboozled and suckered into a school of prophecy and a school of dream interpretation. I repent on behalf of the kingdom of Elohim, even though the kingdom of Elohim didn't do it. But everybody's saying they're part of the kingdom and they in the church and the church of the kingdom. Listen, it's different. This stuff we doing is just ridiculous. I hope that I've given you enough information to bear this through and process it properly. My name again is Apostle V.W. Jones Sr. It is always my joy and my pleasure to be here with you guys and work through what Yahweh lets us know. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh our Elohim. If you got dreams and you need them presently, apparently he still uses me to do them until he lifts this off of me. And there are a few others that I know that literally are used to do this. And it's dream interpretations are confidential too. You don't listen, y'all. One more thing. Do not tell your dreams like Usef to your brother or your sister. They're going to hate on you. That's like you. They're gonna hate on you. Stop telling your dream to everybody that you think is wearing a collar and got a pectoral cross and a robe and a censer on their robe, or a handkerchief with some lace on it and a lace front that needs to be re-dyed. I'm just trying to let y'all know, listen, because they done sweated out so much with all this preaching and teaching they done did. Y'all listen. And if the part and the hair don't match, y'all should know something wrong right there. If you're going to wear the lace front, at least make the part match the skin tone. Anyway, that was in my soul. I had to get that out for Sabbath kicked in. Father, I repent if I offended anybody. However, I want you to be in excellence. So at the end of the day, gotta go. At the end of the day, stop telling people your dreams. Stop telling people your dreams. Ask Yahweh, who do I take it to? Father, we thank you for your word, will, and plan today. We ask you to be with, in, through, and toward us for your name's sake and praise as we move forward into Shabbat. Those that are already in Shabbat, I pray you are blessing them and empowering them because they've allowed you to come into their home, their houses, their bodies, their persons, their spaces, their private places, that you can impart wisdom and help them process through all the different things that left them ambiguous, or some ambiguous things that left them with questions over the last 7 days of work. Be with them now. I pray you to push them and propel them into the future and the next 7 days of work until we get to that time, that Pesach, which is upon us. We proclaim it. We ask you to give us understanding, teach us, reveal to us all things you, in the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, because man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of the mouth of Yahweh, who is our Elohim. We bless you and we exalt you this day. In the name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we say, Amen. Well, everybody, it's been a pleasure and a joy. Hope to see you again soon.
If you need truth, this is the place for you. Don't need to complicate it. It's best to keep it basic. Open the book, the word itself approved. He's Alpha and Omega, the answer since the early ages. What you should do is learn about the greatest. Just so you know, our door is always open. Let's study together instead of debating. Share our differences. Let love heal all that's broken.